Traditional SEO is about ranking. This new large language model SEO, LLM SEO, is about being cited by these large language models. And if you don't know why your competitors are showing up for the search queries that you're trying to target, you're not going to win. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can reverse engineer and outsmart your competitors so that you can get your content cited more often. And the best part is all these tools will be free, and just with some smart prompting and processes, you'll be able to do this and outsmart your competitors after this video. So let's assume that you've already done your keyword research and you know what search queries you want to target and create content for. So the most important thing here, if you're just doing this manually, is that you want to understand what sites are showing for certain search queries. So you'd pull out your tools. So that in this case, it could be Google's AI mode or AI overview or Perplexity. So in this example, let's just say that we're trying to target how to reduce SaaS churn. Like let's say we're an onboarding tool for SaaS products. And if we just add how to reduce SaaS churn, we'll see that this is the AI overview, and it is an answer to this question, how to reduce SaaS churn. And this is why you're seeing a lot of sites that are having dropping organic traffic, because there's no need to click through on a blue link anymore. You can get the answer immediately in this AI overview. And so you can see that there are some reasons, the breakdown for how to reduce SaaS churn. So you optimize onboarding, enhance customer support, etc. And these are the sources for where Gemini, which powers this AI overview, is actually getting this information. And this is even relatively more new, which is AI mode. And this is where there's deep research that comes in. So deep research has multiple search queries. So this one question, how to reduce SaaS churn, actually is incorporating many related questions to answer this. And what's interesting is that the sources here are slightly different. Now, if we go to another large language model that allows for search, let's say in this case, it's Perplexity, and we do how to reduce SaaS churn, it's the same answers. It's the same overview, and you can see the sources are here, or you can see here the specific sources. So here's the first trick, is that you can, first of all, see what sites are being cited by large language models. So it's Stripe in this case. Now we can ask ChatGPT why this is the case. And this is where it's really powerful, is because in a meta way, we're asking the large language model why it is citing this website in its results. So what I did here is I said, what sources do you cite? I didn't quite type it in right. How to reduce SaaS churn. And so it's giving some of the sources that it's using to answer this question. So there are blogs and benchmarks, and then operators and insights, customer success. So these are products, tools, and SaaS communities like SaaStr and indie hackers. But what's good too is that I can actually take a specific URL and ask ChatGPT why it is using this. What is it about this URL in particular that makes it citation worthy? And so what's nice is we're getting a very specific answer. And this is a foundation so that we can understand what we need to do to improve on this, where the gaps are in terms of the content that we want to create, and then we can fill in those gaps to create a better piece of content that is more likely to increase our likelihood of being cited by these large language models. So it is recency. So this is something that large language models actually favor now, is recency. Stale content means less relevance, is what some studies have shown. So well-structured. So this refers to the headers, the H1s, H2s, H3s. Data-driven, so there's some specific proprietary data, and Stripe, which processes the payments, certainly has that. Categorized strategies, use cases. But let's see, okay, where are there gaps? So actually, to take a step back, I pulled the four results, the top four results, and then I pulled the headers from these. So this is the top result for how to reduce SaaS churn. And not surprisingly, the Stripe domain has high domain authority, and how to reduce SaaS churn is an exact match in the title here. But let's take a look at the actual content of the page, understand it, and then maybe where there are areas of improvement or gaps that we can take advantage of and improve on. So to get the headings in a very simple way is the detailed.com Chrome extension. So you can go to detailed.com chrome.com/extension, and you'll be able to get this free Chrome extension. And the value of this is that you're getting instant, totally free on-page SEO data. So if we go to the Stripe page, we can just click this Chrome extension and we can see what the headings are. So we can see that the title, how to reduce SaaS churn, H2s, H3s, and of course it all correlates to the actual page. And this is helpful because now we understand the structure of the page, and the structure is something that's very important to LLMs as it's crawling the site to understand and ultimately to answer the questions that we have put in as questions of this large language model. So I'm going to collect the headings of the top 4 pages. And so I went to each of these pages. So in this case, I went to here, the AI overviews, and then I went to the Forecastio and Paragon. And let's see here. I just went to the detail.com. I go to the headings. I then just copy the header and then I pasted it in. And now I want ChatGPT to tell me, give me an overview of this, and then where are the gaps that I can include in the content that I'm putting together for how to reduce SaaS churn. So I literally pasted in. I did add markdown for the different posts just for some clarity and some organization. And then the DigitalOcean post. And then here is a structured gap analysis of the top 4 search engine results pages for how to reduce SaaS churn. So it's giving me a real quick overview of what each of these covers in table format, which is really interesting, and then where there are gaps. So these gaps are how I can actually insert myself in the conversation if I'm creating a product or service around how to reduce SaaS churn. So some ideas. So this is ChatGPT, which is actually providing the answer, is telling me where there are gaps that I can create, which is churn diagnostic frameworks, behavioral segmentation for churn, so no one breaks down churn drivers by behavioral segments, post-churn recovery strategies, qualitative offboarding insights, and so on. So this is really good. Right here, this is enough to create multiple posts on. And in doing so, I would create this as an H2. So for example, I would say early stage versus late stage SaaS churn. Maybe that falls under this article or maybe it's a different one, but that's something that I can include. And then it gives me some specifics on actually what this post might look like in terms of an outline. But I said, I want to incorporate gaps. And ultimately, I want some ideas. Like if I don't know where there are gaps, or I want more ideas for including more proprietary data. Because remember, Google has its EEAT, its experience, its expertise, its authority, and its trustworthiness. I want to see where I can include my own proprietary data or my own unique insights and incorporate that into the post. So maybe ChatGPT can help me do this. And it says, here are some ideas. So a retention ROI calculator. And this is something relatively simple with a Google Sheet. So maybe I can include, create a Google Sheet template and include that, some data insights, and like it mentioned earlier, behavioral data visuals. And then I get an outline from ChatGPT, H2s, H3s. And again, the clarity and the structure of the page, of the post, is really important, and that really starts with these header tags. And then I go through, I see it's doing a really good job. Like if I had an AI write this section by section, it would be a very robust post, but also it's something that is modular or something that can be pulled out and extracted. So an LLM could see if somebody were to ask, how do I build, or what are advanced tactics to reduce churn? It's very clearly stated and organized in a way with the schema that it can understand and pull it in. So it increases the likelihood of being pulled in as a cited source for these LLMs. And ChatGPT notes that in its own prompt or in its own answer, final notes to make it LLM citation worthy. So structure, so the H2s and H3s aligned with the subqueries, including the schema. Internal citation, so if we're doing internal linking, is very important. Original data, downloadable tools, and something that's simple because natural language, using words that are meant for humans in a way that humans actually write is actually more important, because LLMs tend to reward clear and useful and not some dense academic writing. Before I end, there are two other really helpful features from the detail.com Chrome extension that you might want to use to incorporate in your post. And one is understanding the schema. So if you go to any page, you can just click on the detail.com Chrome extension right here, click on schema, and then you can see what the schema of the page is. And what's helpful, as ChatGPT mentioned in its analysis before, and where there's a gap, is what schema is on the page and what schema is not on the page. Like, for example, ChatGPT said that there was no TLDR or there was no FAQ schema on any of these pages. But the schema that is here that might be helpful, that's often a best practice for LLM SEO, for example, is the date. So the date is important for the last date that it was modified. So you can see that here. Let's see, date modified here is so January 2025. Also the person who wrote it, and so that is for the experience and expertise. So there is the schema here for the name and ID, which is Sophie. So those are important things. The other thing that's helpful when you are creating content that Detailed can help surface for you is what other questions are people surfacing, or what other questions are people asking. So if you go to Google, and let's go in incognito mode to Google, and let's just say again, how to reduce SaaS churn. You can see that this is a detailed Chrome extension, and it also shows up here. So there's the people also ask. So people that are typing in how to reduce SaaS churn also are asking different questions. And you will often see on the Google search engine results page that it's people also search for. And this is helpful because, again, the Google AI mode uses this fan out technique where there is a one query, but really that query is made up of many different related subqueries and subtopics. So this people also ask is a helpful way to capture that and cover those in the content. So you can certainly click through, okay, people also search for churn rate, and then you can go through. But the nice thing about the detail.com extension is that it actually automatically pulls the people also ask. So if I go just second level in, meaning I'm clicking through twice, I can automatically extract the people also ask questions and see what's relevant, add that into ChatGPT, and then incorporate that into the outline. So if I pull it up here, this is the export from what I just got from the people also ask. So these are all related questions that people are asking if they're also interested in how to reduce SaaS churn. So these are really helpful. I could just copy these and then add it into the outline. And these in itself might be specific FAQs to include in the schema, or they might be new topics altogether, but they're certainly related in this cluster of questions related to how to reduce SaaS churn. So that's it. Now you know how to reverse engineer the top ranking and the most cited sources that large language models are including in their answer. And so to review again, you're going to understand, let's assume that you know the keyword or the search query that you're going to target. You'll ask ChatGPT, what sources are you using to answer this question? Then you will actually go to Perplexity. You'll go to AI mode in Google or AI overviews in Google. Look at those links and then understand what those content pieces are looking like. You can use the free detail.com Chrome extension to pull out the headings. Then you can upload those headings to ChatGPT, understand at a high level what topics are covered, and then maybe more importantly, what topics are not covered, where those gaps are that you can fill in. And then you can also ask, what can I include to make my piece more citation worthy? And so that at a high level is how you can reverse engineer these top ranking posts and these most cited posts in large language models, and then get your piece in there. And then again, of course, remember the basics that you want to include the proper schema. You want to keep it fresh and updated. You want to include your expertise, your experience, your authority, and your trustworthiness. And that is how you can improve the likelihood of appearing in large language models. If you want to talk about how to increase the visibility of your product in large language models, make sure to click the link below and we can jump on a free strategy call where I can walk you through the process of how to do so. And if you're interested in creating content with AI that does show up in large language models, make sure to click the link below or the link somewhere to watch that next video. Thanks so much. See you in the next video.